I could use my mobile phone for 1 second each day.
I wrote overuse, so does that make a difference?
Again, it's a little bit too vague. So your problem is that, again, the size of the buckets are massive compared to what you're actually trying to describe.
Okay.
So let's rewrite it a little bit. It's a little bit simpler. Toddlers use phones for an extended period of time on a daily basis. You can see that someone like you who band 9 level speaking, great vocabulary, great grammar, but by starting your essay off in this way, you've completely changed the meaning. So what you're telling the examiner with this one is, I don't really understand the meaning of toddler. My vocabulary isn't very good, and I don't know how to change mobile phones. That is why you're getting a low score. Not just this reason, but just your opening sentence tells the examiner you don't deserve one of the higher scores.
Okay.
Why do you think you had an issue with that? Because I'm telling you a lot of stuff, but what was going through your head when?
I think quick thinking is what I struggled with, because I want to finish the essay and I feel like I have a time limit. And if timing wasn't an issue, maybe I could give it more thought and wouldn't speed up as much.
So 2 things. One is, don't think of any sentence within an essay as getting it out of the way, because every sentence is important. The structure that we're going to teach you, every single sentence has a job, and if it doesn't do that job, it's kind of like a chain. If there's one weak link within the chain, so for example, putting kids in there means the rest of the essay doesn't make any sense, because you're talking about from 0 to 17, 18 years old, whereas this is about toddlers. You've done the test before. This is probably only the second time you've ever paraphrased the question. Like anything, it requires practice. So what I would recommend you do is literally once a week, get 10, 20 questions, paraphrase them, and then show them to me, and then I'll give you feedback on this. And you'll get better and better and better, just like anything.
Okay.
So now we have, toddlers use phones for an extended period of time on a daily basis. I think we need to fix that. Just add in many, so some, many. So it's just changing the meaning of that a little bit. So the next thing we need to do is we need to briefly answer both questions. To thank you for making it this far in the video, I want to give you 10% off our VIP course. The IELTS VIP course is the most successful IELTS course in the world. That is a fact, because we have more band 7, 8 and 9 success stories than any other IELTS course in the entire world. We do that by simplifying the whole IELTS process, supporting you with some of the best IELTS teachers in the world, and being with you every step of the way until you get the score that you need. All you have to do is just look down in the description, just click that, and you can sign up. If you have any questions about the VIP course, always feel free to get in touch with us. We answer 100% of the questions that we get. Hope that you become a VIP. If not, enjoy the rest of this free video. So remember, what are our 2 ideas? What I would like you to do is just put them into a sentence. So parents nowadays want to keep their toddlers entertained. This could be a positive thing, because toddlers can use it to access educational apps. Perfect, great. This will be our introduction. I would maybe just put, this is because, just making it very clear to the examiner, this is why. So this is because parents nowadays want to keep their toddlers entertained, and this could be a positive thing because toddlers can use it to access educational apps. When the examiner reads this, they know a few things. Number 1, they know she's understood the question. Number 2, she's answered what you need to worry about when it comes to IELTS Writing Task 2. Number 1, did you answer the question? Are your ideas solid? Do you actually answer the question in the essay? Third and fourth thing are vocabulary and grammar. We'll talk about that later. The second thing is structure. How do you structure your answer? How do you lay your answer out on the page? I'm going to show you 3 different structures, and you're going to pick the correct one.
Okay.
Let's go back to the question. Why is this the case? So you need to use a structure that clearly explains why this is, and is this a positive or negative development? You need to do that as well. So let's look at the first structure. This first structure has 4 paragraphs. An introduction, main body paragraph, another main body paragraph, and a conclusion. Just have a look at what they do in there. Next one.
Okay.
And then the next one. So this has more paragraphs.
That's a bit tricky. I'll go with the second one.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's look at the ones that you didn't think were correct. Why did you think this one wasn't correct?
Because I believe in the second structure, we can answer both questions. Why is this the case and why is this positive or negative? And we can also explain why we think that is.
And this one, state how the problem can be solved. Does it ask you how the problem can be solved in the question? Good.
No.
Okay. This one is wrong because in general, the structure is okay, but it doesn't actually do the right thing. So structures help you part of the way, but you need to think about what you're doing at the same time. A lot of people will memorize structures that they find in books or on the internet, and then they will populate those structures with ideas that don't make any sense. You need both. You need your ideas to be solid, and you need your structure to be solid. So let's look at this one. Why not this one?
Because it doesn't answer the question number 2.
Good. So you're right, and there's one thing that you're missing. This one is a lot longer. So it's saying why it is positive and why it is negative. Then it is giving your opinion. You probably would say your opinion in the conclusion, so probably would answer the question. It's not guaranteed that you would do that. It's probably better that you do answer the question in the main body. You don't leave it until the conclusion. We would call that a surprise conclusion. It's like you're not telling the examiner what's happening until the very end. But big problem with this one is you will only have 40 minutes on test day, and that's going to be way too long because it is a balance between quantity and quality. If you just write as much as you know about the topic and include as much detail as possible, the quality might be lacking there.
True.
So you need to balance that out a little bit. So this structure does a few different things. Number one, it answers both questions. Answer question 1, answer question 2. Writing is basically taking things out of your head and putting it on paper. What the examiner is thinking is, did she take what she thinks about the question out of her brain and put it clearly on paper? This structure forces you to do that.
Okay.
So we're forcing you to do the thing that the examiner is looking for. We're kind of taking the thinking out of it for you a little bit by forcing you to do the right things. The other thing is that it's this balance of quality and quantity in terms of time. This will be between 260 to 300 words, and it's quite easy to write that amount in 40 minutes. So now that we have our ideas and we have our overall paragraph structure, we now need to write our introduction. I hope you're enjoying this video on IELTS writing. If you want to improve your IELTS writing even more, I've developed a free course called IELTS Essay Builder. What IELTS Essay Builder does is it gives you a free course that structures everything from your introduction to your main body paragraphs to your conclusions. It shows you step-by-step, sentence-by-sentence, how to write everything that you're learning here. To sign up for that for free, all you have to do is just click the link in the description. Thanks very much, and let's get back to the video. So what we're going to do now is go sentence by sentence. What should we include in the introduction? Don't worry, we'll start writing very soon. So I'm going to give you 3 introductions. 2 of them are wrong, 1 of them is right. And I want you to think about what sentences I've put in these introductions. Would this help you clearly answer the question or not?
Okay.
So here's introduction 1. So paraphrase question means take the question and just write it in different words.
Okay.
And then we answer both questions. Introduction 2 is write a hook to hook the reader in.
Okay.
And then a thesis statement is kind of an academic way of saying what you think about the questions. And then introduction 3, paraphrase the question, state why toddlers use phones. And then discuss 2 opposing, so 3 sentences here.
I think I would go with the introduction 1, the first one.
Why not 2?
I don't think that the examiner wants a hook or a
Why
thesis
not?
statement. He's asking a question and he wants to see if you're going to answer that directly and the quality you're going to provide in that structure. And I don't think a hook is necessary to
He
answer
or
the
she
question.
is getting paid. So he or she doesn't need hooking.
Exactly,
So a
I
hook
think.
is more for like a story or like a TikTok video or something like
Exactly.
that. You don't need to include it in an academic essay. What is wrong with this one?
The question doesn't ask why toddlers use phones, and hence we won't answer the question. It says, why is this the case? Not why do toddlers use phones.
Excellent. Excellent.
Yeah.
So why is this the case? It's it's not really about why toddlers are using phones. It's why parents are letting their toddlers use it. They're toddlers, so they're not really making their own choices, really. It's, well, hopefully not. Hopefully it's their parents supervising them. The other issue with that is the introduction is not where we would discuss opposing views. That is more detail. You put the detail in the main body. What we do here in introduction 1 is we paraphrase the question. That shows the examiner that we've understood the question, because you can't paraphrase something if you don't understand it. And then we answer both questions briefly. We say, here's the answer to question 1, here's the answer to question 2. What that does is it tells the examiner she has understood the question and her ideas are relevant and are good and are answering the questions. You should be able to cut out your introduction and show it to your brother who has never seen the question before, and your brother should be able to read it and go, I understand what she thinks about this. So the next stage is paraphrasing. We are going to give you the question. I give you this pen, and you're going to write the question on the paper. Okay. And I'm going to give you 2 minutes to paraphrase it. So just to repeat what paraphrasing means, you write it again in different words, but it means the same thing. For example, man, male, those are synonyms. They mean the same thing.
I wrote, kids nowadays overuse mobile phones every single day.
So I'm going to highlight some issues here.
Okay.
First, what issue might we have with this? Okay. So compare the word kids with the word toddlers. Do they mean the same thing?
I believe toddlers are younger. Kids can be older.
So toddlers are a very specific subgroup of children, of kids. Toddlers are not babies. They're older than babies. So generally, it differs from kid to kid, but it's generally from like 2 to 3. So by saying kids, you're including Tom, who's 10. But the important thing is that it changes the meaning of the question. So you need to be thinking really about being specific. Do you know any other way of saying toddlers?
They're not exactly newborn, so...
No. So imagine I'm this alien. The baby being carried around and can't walk and can't talk. Is that the same as the toddler? Is there any difference in age between them?
They're 2 to 3 years old.
Okay, so what could we write?
We could write that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Kids between the ages of 2 to 3 years old. So 2 things you could do there. First, you could have just repeated the word toddlers, because on test day, remember that you will only have 40 minutes. So you don't want to be sitting there going like, oh, what do I do? Why do I change this? I can't. And this is the beginning of the test. You don't want the beginning of the test to be you freaking out, going like, I'm running out of time. One, you could have just said toddlers, or you could describe it, kids between the ages of approximately or around 2 to 3 years old. Let's stick with that one. Okay. So you've repeated mobile phones. Can you think of another way of saying...
Gadgets?
Think about these words you're using as like buckets, where everything is... So in the gadget bucket, what is in the gadget bucket?
A lot of things.
Everything on this table, all these cameras are gadgets. You could say a Tesla is a gadget. You know,
Yes, true.
Let's reduce the size of the bucket by being more specific. So we could use something like